Counter-Strike Global Offensive is a game with very humble beginnings. Counter-Strike was a household name in the PC space for a very long time. It's just that the culture around PC gaming was nothing like what we see today. The CSGO beta included 45,000 players. Upon release, the game averaged 36,000 and fell to 20,000 the following month. The game itself was in a terrible state, so it's not surprising to see such a small player base when people still believed 1.6 was superior, and honestly, it was. But Global Offensive continued to grow in the early stages due to action from Valve. Fixing movement, UI changes, weapon balancing, weapon accuracy, changes to utility so Molotovs weren't completely overpowered. It is nearly impossible to go through all of the early changes this game received, as Hidden Path did such a terrible job on the initial release. And after all of the changes within the first 2 years, eventually a game was created that looks like the Counter-Strike we know today. For reference, it wasn't until 2014 where Counter-Strike edged out Call of Duty in prize pool earnings. And if any of you followed Call of Duty esports at the time, this isn't exactly something to be proud of. Call of Duty Ghosts was broken for half of its life cycle with the bomb glitch.
Shooting galore, and we have to end the game actually. There's a bomb glitch that happened right there.
Teams dropped out of tournaments, and tournaments got cancelled. If events could actually run smoothly, it would be another year of Call of Duty being the larger esport. That is where Counter-Strike was at the time, second to a console arcade shooter. It was in 2015 where Global Offensive finally found its identity. Counter-Strike at its core is a highly competitive game with a rich history of esports. It is a community-driven series that has created and expanded upon some of the most well-known game modes and has always had a tight-knit community in whatever niche you choose. A place where you can create lifelong friendships. But that is Counter-Strike's identity. Here is Global Offensive's identity.
Yeah! Please win. You won! Oh my god! You did it! You did it! You did it! Oh my god! I can't believe it! You just won $2,000! You just won $2,000! Oh! Yes! Yes! I did it, Reddit!
I may have been around for a few years, but I still don't know how to pronounce his name, so this guy opened up a discussion on gambling again in a big way. As someone who views Counter-Strike gambling as a threat capable of making all of my skins worthless, I wanted to chip in again myself now that I don't feel like I'm yelling into the void. His video is important. It dives much deeper into the legal side that I wasn't aware of, and no YouTuber has outlined as clearly as he has. I think the discussion that this video has opened up should act as a reminder for what can happen if we let this side of the industry get too large. I'm talking about 2016. You might get a little worried after seeing how degenerate the community has become once again, and what that might mean for the future of skins and Counter-Strike as a game. Global Offensive getting its first big boost from the gambling content of 2014 and 2015, whether it was third-party sites or in-game cases, is the reason we have this community today. The game was always going to be big, it's too polished not to, but the largest game on Steam? Not likely. Phantom Lord was a top 10 streamer on Twitch and held the viewership record for years. Syndicate was one of the largest YouTubers in the world. T Martin a massive Call of Duty content creator, and almost all of FaZe who ran YouTube back in the day. The Creatures, consisting of Uberhaxer Nova, Alex, and Kutra, who represented an entire era of content creation, and CSGO Lounge, which introduced a bunch of casuals to Pro CS as they had to study the teams so they could win bets consistently. It's hard to contextualize just how crazy skins gambling was back in the day as the internet was significantly smaller, but it felt like every single community came together for that short time to gamble on Counter-Strike. As someone who was playing Black Ops 2 at the time and made sick montages like this, here's how I got introduced. I knew of Counter-Strike at the time due to the FaZe boys doing case unboxings and gambling on the site that we now know they owned. A good friend of mine asked me to buy the game, and since I was 13, I basically dropped my whole allowance on it. Before I played a game, I opened a case with my leftover Steam funds. Before I felt confident enough to play ranked, I started betting on CSGO Lounge. CSGO gambling had such a large impact that some 13-year-old COD kids downloaded the game on their laptops just so they could crack some cases. Now I have to ask, is that much different from what we're seeing today? With the release of CS2, we are going to see a potentially massive player base increase, but it does all depend on how well Valve can retain these new players. Steam is the biggest gaming platform on PC, and Counter-Strike is by far the most popular game on this platform. Valorant has introduced a bunch of people to tactical shooters, and Fortnite has grown the PC gaming space tenfold to a new generation. Former Fortnite Golden Boy Ninja, gambling. Former COD streamer Nick Merckx, gambling. Aiden Ross, probably the closest thing we have to FaZe today in terms of a young, edgy community, gambling. You can't tell me there were more children illegally gambling back in 2015 than there is today. The same types of content creators with young, impressionable viewers are once again engaging in the type of content that resulted in a massive lawsuit. A parent-led lawsuit. I'm surprised we haven't seen more articles like this in the last few years. But it's only a matter of time, and unless something is done, don't be surprised when history repeats itself. The discussion generally focuses on the entire concept of a market sustained by random chance, but nothing gets the people going like drama. Well, Warren has provided that drama. Now I won't be picking sides here, as I can't say I support either, but for those who have missed what may have been the most expensive yet cringiest drama we have ever seen, this is basically what went down. Warren is affiliated with CSGO Empire. Nothing special here, just another gambling site with your usual games. Now Warren and CSGO Empire are not industry leaders, and they have some competition with a site called CSGO Roll. Warren is a habitual liar, and at this point, he has probably lied more than he has told the truth, but the community reaction makes it all worth it for him. And throughout all the antics, Warren finally got the reaction he wanted when he played a part in banning some very notable inventories that had a role in supplying CSGO Roll. And through some investigation, even some people without relation to CSGO Roll. Millions and millions of dollars lost. Now this is a developing story, so I won't get too deep into it, and I know there's a ton of other content creators that have covered it. It's probably the biggest story of 2023 outside of the CS2 announcement. The reason I bring this up is due to the attention that it brings. What ultimately changed the market forever in 2016 was T Martin, Syndicate, and Josh OG. Everything was falling apart, with sites getting exposed for fake odds, and people like Phantom Lord and Mo getting exposed for having unfair information. Basically, they could make infinite money if they wanted to. None of these things caused the 7-day trade hold. Not even CSGO Lotto Gain Exposed caused it. The reason why Valve took action is because of the lawsuit. The reason this lawsuit exists is through apology videos, tweets, articles, and other forms of media that let everyone in the world know that illegal gambling operations with zero ethics were stealing money from all ages. But Valve doesn't actually care. They don't run the sites, they just supply the game. And if the game is doing well and making them millions and millions of dollars like it has for nearly a decade now, they have nothing to solve, nothing to fix, nothing to ban. It's not their problem. Their true problem is a video like this, the video like the one you're watching right now, the regulations Twitch newly released for promoting skins. Public discourse can only become so strong before it turns into action, and Valve do not want a repeat of 2016. If people like Warren keep pulling stunts like this, just like CSGO Lotto pulled stunts like these, people are going to start doing more than just talking. And just recently, I was linked an article about an Estonian man who was taken to court over scamming skins from another person living in Estonia. After translating some of the documents, I saw that the scammer got 1.5 years in jail for stealing virtual items. The conversation has changed. All ages have become more familiar with the online gaming space. And with that comes a further understanding of the unethical practices that exist within a game like Counter-Strike. These sites can only make millions of dollars unnoticed for so long. From an ethical perspective, can you really talk about these third-party sites like they're the devil? Sure, they use loopholes to operate, and have certain aggressive marketing strategies that result in people losing more money than they expected, or getting children involved when they otherwise wouldn't. But the entire market is sustained by gambling. Anyone who buys skins is contributing to this gambling-funded market. You're in a glass house. I show gambling in my videos. I buy skins that exist due to another person gambling. I made a video showing the insane profits I made from gambling. In general, I make videos that may cause someone to buy an item that was received from gambling, which then gives the seller more money to gamble, continuing the cycle. I personally have drawn the line at third-party sites, but depending on your perspective, you could look at my position as highly unethical, and I don't think I can argue that. Breaking down why I don't want these sites to get too big, forcing Valve to take action again, basically boils down to this. Both of these are gambling. Both of these allow children to lose thousands of dollars if the parents aren't in a position to stop them. Both are in jeopardy of further regulations. But I have accepted one. For my own financial reasons, I'm willing to potentially harm the development of children and young adults to maintain that value. The Counter-Strike market is this little risky get-rich-quick corner of the internet. There aren't many markets out there that make it this easy to make 1000% in a few years. There aren't many markets where you can buy just about anything and profit within a few years even if you purchased at a previous high. The risk of the game dying off and skins dropping in value has all been washed away in the near future. It's a massive game with a community that will keep playing until they die. The biggest risk today is how the outside community decide to police it. If we have another 2016, we might just lose it all. What I wish for is that other content creators have the foresight to deny some of these sponsorship offers, so these sites can stay hidden in the corners of the internet. The current culture of accepting any gambling offer that comes at your doorstep only exists in Counter-Strike, and I think it's sad that underage gambling is how we represent this community. And even if you don't care about any of that, if legislation comes and the market does not function like it used to, your skins lose a ton of value or have no value at all, you only have yourself to blame. Getting skins in Counter-Strike is just like a loot box, it just has a market attached to it. And if Counter-Strike gets targeted, it's not Valve's fault, it's the community that has forced their hand.